The Bracknell Bees have defeated the Peterborough Phantoms tonight, top of the table clash in the Division 1 South. It started off well for Bracknell. They dominated the first period, got the first goal, and we're all over Peterborough. Peterborough just couldn't get enough offensive time together. They were 1-0 down at the end of the first, and I felt that was rightly deserved, but obviously it's a 60-minute game, not a 20-minute game, so, you know, it was a positive start. It was a solid start. I think all the players on the Bracknell side were buying into the style of play this evening. And in the second period, Peterborough got two very quick fire goals in the middle of the period, and they deserved it for the way they played in the second period. They woke up a bit. They realised they were being bullied. They had been pushed around physically, and they were outskilled and outshot. And they came back and they did to Bracknell what we had done to them in the first, and they were 2-1 up and looking comfortable at the end of the second. I felt Bracknell completely switched off. There was a lack of intensity in the defensive zone, lack of protection for Dean Skins. It was until the end of the third period that it really got interesting. Start of the third period was about 50-50. It was end-to-end stuff. It was really intense for the level that this is played at Division 1 South, which is the second tier level in Britain. So it was a very intense start of the third. And then we pulled the goalie, which normally for Bracknell is a disastrous move. And it was 2-1, and you could feel the nervousness in the building. And Antonov scored a very, very good goal to tie it with just under a minute left. Last gasp equaliser, as I'll call it. And I would think going 2-2 into overtime would have been perfectly fair result. I wasn't too unhappy with that. I mean, it's nerve-wracking when you've been in the lead, you've coughed up the lead, you're chasing, you get back into it. It's quite a nerve-wracking evening. But the overtime, Peterborough just couldn't get out their end. And when the final shot totals were tallied up, Peterborough were comprehensively outshot throughout the game. Apart from the second period, first and third and overtime. Overtime, they didn't get a single opportunity on net. And you're not going to win the game if you don't shoot. They couldn't get out of their end. They were then on the penalty kill for a lot of the overtime as well. So Peterborough's discipline was starting to creak a little bit. They were giving away some really silly penalties at the end of the third period and in overtime. And Sean Thompson gets the winner again, very well finished. And Tyler Van Cleef is continuing his point per game average since coming over from the Nottingham Panthers. He's continued his point per game, and I looked at his numbers before he came over to the UK, and in the SPHL he was a solid player. Can score, can assist. He's a two-way player. Doesn't take a lot of penalties. And his assist on the goal was crucial. I think the energy levels were much better than the last time we played Peterborough. The last time we played Peterborough, we lost 7-3, and the last time at home it went to overtime, and we were the unfortunate beneficiaries of an overtime losing point. So it's good to see that the top two teams in the division were going at it. And yes, Peterborough do have games in hand, and of course, they had that advantage, and I can't see Peterborough losing all the 4 or 5 games they have in hand, not at all. But it was a good win, and it means we're now top by a point. And of course, going into tomorrow's game against Milton Keynes, that's going to be interesting. It's not a given that we're going to win, but we're favourites to win that game. But Milton Keynes always play a physical type of game, and Peterborough, I don't know who they're playing, but Peterborough have shown so far throughout the whole season to this point that they are the best team. I'm not going to try and overstate the fact they are the best team at this level. And that showed tonight with their fight and their way they came back from being 1 goal down, and they took control of the second period. Something Bracknell have to do going forward is play a full 60 minutes. We saw that in the charity game midweek. They could play a full 60 minutes. But going forward, I think they can learn a lot from this win. Going behind in the second, they came out in the third and they fought for that equaliser. Josh Martin got man of the match. Van Cleef, as I said, is continuing his point per game ratio. I think he's averaging 1.5 points per game because he's had a couple of goals as well. He's been a very good addition to the side since he's come in the last 5-6 weeks, and he's picked up Doug Shepherd's tactics very, very quickly. He's fitted in seamlessly with his teammates and his line mates very, very quickly. and I'm hoping he can have a good run in the second half of the season and keep contributing. But overall, it was a good win tonight, a well-deserved win, a hard-fought win, and Peterborough, fair play to them. They did obviously give a very good game tonight, but they were outshot, and that is a problem for them. They've got to, when they are dominating, keep that domination with puck possession and putting pucks on net, because if you're not testing a goaltender that you've just scored two very quick goals on towards the end of the second period, it makes it harder for you to hold on to that lead, because they went into full defence mode for the second half of the third, and overtime they were just under siege and they couldn't get out. And when that equaliser went in, their heads dropped, because they knew they had thrown away a game from a winning position, and they just couldn't get it back. And in the overtime, they couldn't get out of their defensive third, and they couldn't get up the other end of the ice and relieve the pressure on Marr in goal, and it just ended up being a losing overtime point for them. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Next weekend, the Raiders are the Bracknell Bees' opposition. So that's going to be a fight fest. I have no doubt on that. That's going to be a very physical, brutal encounter. There's going to be a lot of penalties in that game. Both sides don't like each other. That dates back to last year's regular season and playoffs. Both sides do not get on with each other. They really, there's an animosity there between the Raiders and the Bees, and that's going to be a very interesting matchup. And it's about who can be the most disciplined in that game. I think, though, if you take a lot of silly penalties in that game, you're gonna lose. And I think the Raiders are one of the best non-ex EHPL sides from the old National League. I think we are aware there's going to be some structural changes to the league next season. I think the Raiders are going to put their hand up and say, look, if the league is restructured, we want to stay in the second tier. I honestly believe that. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you're a hockey fan of British hockey, thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. I do all sports, as you can tell, and I'll have some more videos for you tomorrow with obviously a lot of FA Cup games. There's a couple of televised games over the rest of the weekend of the FA Cup, so I'll be doing match reviews on them as well. And I shall see you soon.